All right, folks. Hello, YouTube. Want to talk about something real serious for young parents and young people, uh, especially to the parents. Uh, so many parents today are filling their child up with McDonald's, Burger King, the Burger Boy, whatever you got. And you got to stop it. You got to get good nutrition and good food in your children. Good things that aren't so processed. You need to bust your backside to get good food in your child. So many people are working today. Well, newsflash, so many people were working longer hours back when I was a boy. Nothing was was a lot easier for my generation when I was a boy than it was for the generation before that. However, it's never been more easy than it is today. So you got to, as a young parent, get out of, I don't have the time. Let me explain something to you. The school system's got plenty of time to pollute your children's heads and their hearts. So I want to give a little bit of advice here. The first is get good nutrition in your children. The second is you need to be living like a combat soldier at all times as a parent. You have an enemy, you need to be looking, and you need to be doing reconnaissance on what that enemy is filling your children's head with and your children's hearts with. You need to be telling your children every single day, son, daughter, kids, it wasn't like this when I was growing up. This is a evil phenomenon. This is perversion. And you need to be really open and honest with your children about these things. You can't look away and shield your children. Your children are being taught that a man marrying another man is fine and perfect, and procreating is not in the goal no more. This world and that school system is teaching your children that a man can just get pregnant and have a baby. Crazy, sick stuff. This school system is telling your children that they're racist and bigoted and Nazis if they don't like the country being overrun by people that don't look like them. And that's not racist. I'll give you my United States American perspective on this. And I don't consider my perspective racist at all. And I don't think African Americans would consider their perspective racist at all either. I grew up in a world that we had two peoples that looked different. We had Caucasians, and we had three. We had Caucasians, we had American Indians, and we had African Americans. And we all looked different from one another. As racism went on between your groups, oh yeah. And things will continue to happen. But none of those groups are looking and liking what they're seeing filter across the border and being overwhelmed by different religions and different cultures. Nobody except the mentally ill are wanting those types of things. And this is going on the world over. Great Britain is experiencing a much worse problem because they are having Muslims come across their border that are killing and murdering their children in the droves and want to kill them all. And a government that wants them to, seems to want them to. And we have a government that seems to want the same for us in the U.S. And you need to tell your children, you really need to know what they're learning in school. If the average parent knew what their children was being taught in school, there would be a revolution right now all across Western civilization. The hammer would come down and it would be done in a day or two, all across. These people would be drug out and it'd be the end of them. If we only knew what we were teaching our children. Good nutrition. A parent needs to be a combat soldier in a combat zone. And the other thing I'm seeing is a lot of trivialness and jovialness. And what do I mean by that? You know, you got dads and moms, they don't really want to think about nothing that, you know, they start getting into what's going on in the world, they start getting depressed, so they run from it. And they don't want to talk to their children about these things. Hence, it's just spreading like wildfire. All this death, destruction, and perversion just spreading like wildfire. You know, I've run into so many parents. Their evenings consist of everybody on a device, thumbs going on games, telephones, internet, YouTube, but not on raising their kids. And their kids' time is not being spent being kids because they, in actuality, don't have real parents. And it's got to change. I'm seeing parents now, they're worried, oh, well, my kid will think I'm being hypocritical. Really? You know, in the house I grew up in, it was do as I say, not as I do. And that's the house my son's growing up in. Same type. You can't leave nothing to chance. If you are putting poison, your seed is producing your offspring, and you go and you put poison on the field, gasoline on the crop, and it's going to produce bad fruit every time. So you've got to feed your children mentally, physically, and most importantly, spiritually. And I'm not talking about taking your child down to the corner church where they're telling everybody, where you've got basically a beta male standing up, a wimp. I'm sorry, but I'm going here, a pussy, standing bold up there in front of everybody that couldn't defend himself nor his family from anything, telling you if you give $1 to his church, God's going to give you 7 back. That's trash. That is a preacher falsely so-called. That is Christianity falsely so-called. That is not true. And that is the reason why all this debauchery and chicanery is in the world today. It's because the churches have let us down. And we have fell into their mess, their acceptance of everything. Before your ass has a child, you should be dead serious if you want to not abuse that child, and there's thousands of ways to abuse a child. McDonald's is one of the most rampant ways to ruin a child. You feed a child fast food every day, you'll kill it, slowly but surely. You need to be standing there telling your child, hey, that little boy over there that's 5 foot tall and weighs 300 pounds and can barely walk, that's shameful. It's called overindulgence. I forget the exact sin, but it's one of the 7 deadly sins that'll kill anyone deader than hell. So instead of this been labeled now, that's called fat shaming. And then you got 300-pound women coming out in a G-string bikini bathing suit with more cellulite than a humpback whale all over the place. Look at me, I'm happy and free and proud. Look at how beautiful I am. No, people need to look at that for what it is, filthy and disgusting. And it sounds bad. That what people are not figuring out today is the things that are shamed are to get people in a better place. To get people out of the bondage to food, to drugs, to alcohol. If, you're at the local Walmart or Target or whatever your department stores are, and you see some winos or drug addicts over in the corner, they come out from the woods in the back, they live back there. You need to tell little Johnny and Janie when you get them in the car, this is what will happen to you. That's awful. It's bad. It's shameful to be that way. You don't really shame the person, but you tell your kids that how much of a sad shame that the 5 foot tall, 300-pound, 16-year-old is. You don't go over there and say, hey, let me give you a participation trophy. We've got to wake up. And I'm sorry, but a lot of the school stuff is, well, I don't want my kid bullied. You're going to be bullied in the world. And it is amazing to me that the ones that are teaching the kids in the school anti-bullying are the ones that are bullying everybody in the world. Don't fall into these traps. You've got to be vigilant as a parent. You need to tell your child, this world you're being brought up in is not normal. There's nothing normal about it. You need to do your best to connect your child with God spiritually. Have downtime for your child. Go to the woods or something like that. Get out and walk or something like that. Get a connection with your children. You can't go to work and then come home and drop by McDonald's on the way home or Burger King or Hardee's or whatever and fill your child full of pollution every day and think that they're not going to be polluted. You can't send your child to the schoolhouse every day to get all that filth and pollution drilled into them and think that they, not my kids, not mine, that they're not going to be polluted. We have lofty goals around here, folks. We work hard every day. I thank the Lord that Joe my son has a specific goal. It is lofty too, and he will achieve it. I see it daily. It's already come. You just don't know about it. And you need to grasp hold and seize these miracles spiritually, and then physically they will come. I've got so many, even these kids in South America, they come in, they can't do one push-up. You know, a 15, 16-year-old boy can't do one push-up, one sit-up. But I pull and tug them along, and before you know it, they're doing 100. You've got to let these kids know it's the work. It's the work. All these cliches you hear, a good work ethic. But you ain't going to get far without a good work ethic. Unless you're the king of England. Then you can be inbred, a lizard man, or whatever. And you can just walk through life being the reflected idiot that you are, get a big college degree without having to really work for it, and be the king, the head parasite off the working man's blood. But if you're one of us, the everyday, the normal, you're going to have to teach your kid to work. You're going to have to teach your kid that things are long suffering in this world. Long suffering. You're not going to go in there and own the electrical company or the bricklaying company or the paving company. You're going to go in there and you're going to work. You're going to resent those whom you work for a lot of the time when they're pushing you and driving you. But eventually you will be them. It's long suffering and you get through it. And kids aren't being told these things. They're not being told, yeah, but you know, the guy you're working for over here, he's been doing this for 35 years. He was bumping his rump when I was a kid. I seen him out there shoveling like he's making you shovel today. You got to pay your dues. So you've got to be serious with your kids. You've got to be a combat soldier if you are going to be a parent today. It's about as simple as that. I hope everybody has a good week. I hope that the few people that watch these ramblings, I am shocked because we don't get many views. We get a lot of views with things concerning with Joe. They're easy and they're pleasant and people don't have to think. You know, they enjoy seeing Joe practice his craft. However, not many people watch me. And I get that. I'm an old man. But it has been very pleasurable recently to turn and look at so many other channels that younger people are mimicking what I'm saying in a way that is reaching the younger people a lot better than this old man can. It's very pleasurable. So we want to tell you guys that are able to flip and add to or take back and get some good messages across after you see what we're trying to do, that we love you and we appreciate you very much. And that's what it's all about, is just getting the messages out. So you look at sports today, it's awful. Everybody's I, me, my. You know, basketball is just terrible. Boxing is just terrible. Football, all of it. And I'm thankful that those of you that have ethical, moral, God-loving channels are spreading some of the things that this old fella's saying. And I hope God the Lord blesses you. And I hope everybody has a great week.